Hello everyone and welcome to another very nice game from the Croatian Grand Chess Tour. This is the rapid section. It's the third day, round 7, Fabiano Caruana versus Magnus Carlsen, the two great rivals. Today they represent sort of the older generation in chess, but they're still very, very young compared to some players who are still playing like Vasily Ivanchuk and some others. But still, you can definitely feel that the new generation is coming. Can they still compete with them? Only time will tell. And as Gukesh finally stopped his onslaught, Anish Giri was able to stop him with a draw, of course. And we still don't know how Duda's game will end up. This is still very much a fight for first place in the rapid and in the entire event in general. So we'll see what happens. So Fabi with white opens with pawn to e4, and this is already a surprise, and hence the quote above the board. Usually when you play e4 against Magnus, you get c5. That goes, pretty much without question. Magnus wants to fight and he always plays the Sicilian, but not in this one. He plays pawn to c6, the Caro-Kann defense. And okay, pawn to d4, we have pawn to d5 and pawn to e5. We'll see. I don't know, I can't really remember the quote from the Queen's Gambit about the Caro-Kann. It's something like, I can't remember it. If you guys know which one it is, share it in the comments. But something very short, like all pawns know something. But yeah, we'll see if that holds. We have bishop to f5 and knight to d2. I know that you guys are always hoping for the bayonet attack, but here Fabi goes knight to d2. And it's something that Magnus very often plays himself. Again, in I think all of the time formats, there was a Blitz game not so long ago where he went for this knight to d2 line. We have pawn to e6 and knight to b3. Knight to d7 and knight to f3. Very natural development. As you can see, the knight is not on c3, which is a natural square. It's on b3, so it looks a bit out of place, but it's very useful because you can play c3 whenever you want. You know that c5 is coming, so you will have c3 ready. And knight to e7 is more popular here, but as both Magnus and Fabi play this with both white and black, probably Magnus just knows that Fabi knows what to play on knight to e7, so he plays pawn to a6. And okay, he now has a b5 square covered, so he can execute c5. We have bishop to e2 and pawn to c5. Of course, going after white's strong center, Fabi defends, pawn to c3, pawn to h6, and now castles king side by Fabi. Magnus goes pawn to c4, advances the pawn all the way, knight b to d2, and pawn to b5, with some potential for b4 in the future. And here, there is a game where g3 was played. Sanan Sigurov defeated Alexander Donchenko with it in the Lindores Abbey Tal Memorial Tournament. And if you don't know Sanan Sigurov, he's actually the player that dealt Magnus Carlsen one of his worst defeats ever. It's such a devastating game. I made a video on it some 5 years ago. If you haven't seen it, we'll put a link in the description below so you know who Sanan Sigurov is. We have b5 and now knight to e1. So it's a new move. Sigurov went for pawn to g3, and it is now, as of move 11, that we have a completely new game. We have knight e7 by Magnus, pretty standard stuff. You want to move the bishop and then free up the f5 square for the knight if needed. Knight to c2 and bishop to h7. For the moment, Fabi nicely controlling that b4 square. Pawn to f4, we have pawn to h5 and pawn to g3. We have bishop and for those of you who are maybe wondering, is bishop captures on h5 an option? Take a good look in the mirror. And now after g3, bishop captures on c2, we have queen captures on c2, and now pawn to g6. So, as you can see, a very, very interesting setup, something that we don't see quite often. Look at this. Very, very nice. And just knight back to f3. We have knight to f5 by Magnus, a pretty standard square for the knight in the Caro-Kann. We have bishop to d2 and bishop to e7, and it's a fine position for both. Maybe Fabi a little bit better due to the control over f6 and d6, but time is definitely on Fabi's side. Fabi 20 minutes, Magnus 15 minutes on the clock. We have king to g2, knight to b6, and pawn to h3, preparing pawn to g4, and then you can put all the rooks you want on the h-file. So Magnus says, no thank you, I'm just going to play h4 myself. G4, we have knight to G3, allowing Magnus's knight all the way to G3, and now rook F to E1. It's not like your light squared bishop is doing much, so you would actually welcome this trade. We have pawn to A5, we have bishop to D1, and now again pawn to B4. Like in his game against Gukesh, Magnus executes B4 when all the action is supposedly on the king side, but he opens up the position on the queen side. So let's see if it works out this time. We have queen to C1, queen to D7, and rook to E3. Adding support to the third rank, also preparing to go after that knight on G3. We have rook to B8 and now bishop to E1. Magnus now, okay, he doesn't want to overstay his welcome on G3, so knight to E4, bishop to C2, and knight to A4. We have rook to B1, and finally B captures on C3. We have B captures, and now Magnus just castles kingside like he was planning on all along, most likely. And Fabi has a choice here. There's a pawn being offered. Bishop captures, pawn captures, rook captures. Do you capture this pawn or not? The engine says it's the best move, but it's okay, silly to say I'm not convinced if the engine says it's the best move. But the reason I'm not convinced, and the reason why Fabi most likely didn't play it, is that there's this nasty bishop to A3 move, attacking the queen, and once the queen moves, you're going to play rook B2, connect nicely with the king and the queen. So you have to capture, and now after knight captures, that knight is coming to D3. And with little time on the clock, as this is rapid time format, I don't know if allowing a knight on D3 is worth a pawn. So that's why I'm not convinced. And of course, Fabi obviously analyzed up to this point fairly quickly. So he goes queen to D1, puts pressure on the knight, and now just rook to B2. Pins the bishop, so rook captures on B2, knight captures on B2, and now queen to E2. Okay, what is the threat now? Maybe we capture now and pick up a pawn. Rook to B8 by Magnus. And now Fabi finally played knight captures on H4. And it seems like the best move, and it is objectively the best move, but there is a very tricky move here that unfortunately for Magnus missed. Magnus just continued with his plan of knight to D3. But there is a very tricky move that really punishes Fabi's idea. Do you see what move this is? Can you spot the move that Magnus missed? G5. And this is now a big problem because you lose the pawn on F4, and then, okay, the rook is attacked. You also gain control over G3, and that's just gonna destroy your position. And if you play F captures on G5, then look at this, bishop captures, attacks the rook. Not a lot of square for that rook. It might look like you can come to F3, but then queen E7, and the knight is trapped. So it's just a free piece, and black wins. So big miss for Magnus not playing G5 here. He went for knight to D3, and now Fabi happily captures. Bishop captures, we have C captures, queen captures, and rook to B2 with check, rook to E2, and now queen to B7, doubling up and preparing to bring the queen all the way to the second rank. Knight F3, we have pawn to A4 and pawn to H4. Fabi looking for his chances on the king side. Pawn to A3, pawn to H5, G captures, and the rook captures on E2. Queen captures, and now queen B2. Offering a trade of queens, but then the promotion of the pawn is unstoppable as the knight covers the D2 square. So obviously not king G1, king to F1, defending the queen, and queen to C1, just getting out of the way, but keeping all the tension. And this position is equal, but I think 100% of people takes black here. I mean, it's just more normal. So Fabi goes queen to G2 with check, king H7, and now Fabi plays pawn to H6. Now Fabi drops it. Pawn to H6 with the threat of just checkmating the king at G7, but there was another idea here, and it's definitely not an easy one to spot, but just for fun, if you want, what did Fabi miss here? He missed pawn to F5. And there's really not a good way to counter it. You just want to capture on E6, and that's it, and win the G6 square for your queen. And if E captures on F5, which seems like it's possible, then you play E6. And again, you will destroy that pawn. And it doesn't matter what black plays. If you capture, if you don't capture, if you capture, then it's game over right away. Queen G6, king H8, and queen to E8 check picks up the bishop. And if you don't capture, what else is there to play? Not a lot. The engine gives some sort of an f4, but you know, this is now completely winning for white. You don't really have anything to play. Knight to g3 with check, king to g1, and yeah, not a good way. Not a good way to continue this. So, but it's tricky, it's complicated, and Fabi did not have enough time to go through all of this. He played pawn to h6, saying, I'm either checkmating you or your king has to come closer, and then, you know, it's some sort of a draw. So he captured, Magnus captured on h6. We have queen to h3 with check, king g7, and queen to g2. We have king to f8, and now queen to h2. King to e8, Magnus goes around with the king. We have queen to g2, and queen captures on f4. For some reason, Fabi allowed Magnus to capture on f4, whether by mistake or maybe he thought that, you know, it was irrelevant. I have no idea, but that pawn was definitely relevant. We have king to e2, and now there's only one winning move, but again, I don't think it's a difficult one to spot. For fun, if you want, I mean, I cannot stop you. You can always pause the video. Queen to c1. Going for queen to b2 check. Also, you're just going to start gobbling up pawns here. So king to f1 was played, and now queen to d1. Magnus keeping the tension. Queen to g8 with check. We have bishop to f8, not allowing the capture on f7. Queen back to g2, and now knight captures on c3. As the bishop on e1 is pinned, queen to f2, and knight back to e4. We have queen to e3, and the bishop to b4. Magnus finds a way to get the bishop into the attack. King to g2, and now queen to c2 with check. We have king h3, and the bishop captures on e1. Queen captures on e1, capturing with the knight also doesn't help. Queen captures on a2, and now queen to c1, but Magnus just goes queen to f2, and he was in this position on move 57 that Fabiano Caruana resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Mate will occur on g3, and there's really not all that much you can do about this. You could give a check, queen to c8 with check, king e7, but after you try another check, queen to c7 check, the king goes to f8, and now if you try queen to d8 with check, king to g7, and the knight stops queen g5. So there's no check on g5. You can go queen f6 check, the knight also covers that. So basically, there's nothing for you to do. You're just getting checkmated. So yeah, very nicely played by both of them. And yeah, they both missed a very nice idea. First Magnus missing that pawn push, then Fabi missing that pawn to f5. What are you going to do? But as they say in chess, the winner is the player who gets to make, who makes second to last mistake or something like that. Can't remember the exact quote. But yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to check out on the other pairings how the Duda's game went. Yeah, Duda, okay, he got a draw against Nodrbek. So now the standings are Gukesh leading with 11 points, Jan Krzysztof Duda with 9 points, and Magnus Carlsen in third place with 8 points, followed by with 7 points Anish Wesley Pragnananda, Ivan Šarić with 6, Alireza with 6, Fabiano with 5, and Nodrbek with 4 points. And already, as you can see, the games of the next round have started. But, you know, we'll see what happens there. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed it. I would like to thank James Anderson, Guillermo Ismael Garcia Borges, Phil Bauer, Benjamin Heuberger, and Nikola Nenad Stankovic for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.